It's us. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our interview. And yes, I have got the man himself. I have got Mr. Reverend Neil Stokes here. Look at this. What a wonderful man he looks. Well, I don't know about that, but anywho, welcome. Yeah, aren't you glad you come on this on our little kind of show, our interview? No.
Not really,
All
no.
right, all right. It's going to be
Especially you
like that.
paying me.
Yeah, I've had to pay him to come on to on. So how much was the going rate? It's about £2, wasn't it? Something like that to get
Yeah,
you.
like that. Bag of chips.
Bag of chips, bag of chips. Yeah, that's it. Well, I'm really pleased to have you really on the show, and we got people tuning in, and so if you have got any questions and some really juicy questions to ask, please put them in the comments. And I will try. You're not allowed to disappear. You're not allowed to disappear. And so, yeah, if you got any comments or questions, what you want to ask Neil, especially if you want to talk about Go, if you ever went to Go a couple of years ago, and that wonderful situation which we found ourselves on the last night on the games evening, it was really was quite amazing. So, more about that later on, maybe, isn't it, Neil? What do you reckon? Are we going to talk about Go?
I just thought we had to talk about Jesus.
Okay then. All right. So,
You can talk about what you want to talk about.
without further ado, then. So yeah. So tell us your story, my friend, of how you became a Christian and how did you find Jesus? So go on, give us the lowdown.
So the lowdown is I grew up not in a Christian family, which is the something that wasn't I was neither here nor there with
Hmm.
faith. I was pretty laid back. My dad comes from a very faith-filled background with
All
brethren.
right.
So no TVs, no radios, no cutting hair, etc., etc. Women sang hi, men sang no, all that sort of thing.
Right.
Of course, we don't do that. I just sing high because I haven't got a deep voice. But it caused quite a rift in his family, so he didn't want anything to do with it. But
All right.
I was always brought up with good, strong values of how to treat
Hmm.
people, how to respect people, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So I'm always grateful for that. But people could. I just thought Jesus was irrelevant and just some long-haired geezer wearing sandals, who just had no point in my life.
Right.
I I did the usual thing. Had to, I got a job. I wanted a house, 2.4 children, a nice car, and go for those things that the world says, get those
Yeah.
things. Nothing wrong with that.
Hmm.
Um, I got a job in Gloucester, which is where I met Sarah. We went out clubbing, and that's where I met her. And short, long story short, we got together, got married.
Right.
Um, she's been brought up in church all her life. She's been going, but she kind of went away from church around about the age of 18,
Right.
19. We got together, but we had Maddie in 2004. And just after she had Maddie, she went to a church service at her home church
Right.
in Gloucester.
Yeah.
And she can't remember who the speaker was or what he spoke on. But she actually she shared it this morning on this morning's live stream that God, she went back to God. The Holy Spirit really impacted
Hmm.
her, and one of the things that really caught my attention was the fact we used to work in a warehouse. Now, if anyone's ever worked in a warehouse or that sort of environment,
Yes.
every other word is an F or a Jeff,
Yes.
and it's just one of those
Hmm.
environments. And Sarah was like that. Believe it or not, for those of you who know Sarah, she was. Um, but overnight, it was like a night to day experience of she stopped swearing, profanities, all those sort of things,
Wow.
and it was just like that. And she started her journey back towards church, to God,
Hmm.
to a real relationship with Him, and that sort of piqued my interest. If I wasn't playing football on a Sunday, I would reluctantly go to church and just sit there with her,
Right.
with my head down, not say hi to anyone, because I thought it was just a bunch of raving loonies clapping and waving their hands, still doing some. I've just joined them. Um, and basically, over time, you get to hear the
Yeah.
message and get to hear things. And it was actually Steve Kempton, who's one of my good friends and a minister of Holy Trinity at the
Yeah.
moment. He was the minister there who, under his leadership, I gave my life to
Oh
Jesus.
wow.
It's crazy how it all went, because he moved to Nepal for six
Yeah.
years with his family. And but I kind of one day just sat there and heard the message, and
Yeah.
I just felt this thing of, one of the things that got me was, will I ever see my family again if anything happens? I had two
Yeah.
daughters, I had a wife and family, and it's one of those things, where are you going?
Mm.
And I started to play with that and wrestle with it, and I gave my life, and there was no big loud bang or smoke or some crazy disco lights to say, wow, you've made it. It was just the same.
Right.
And it wasn't really until 2009 when God really got hold of me and changed the direction of my life.
Right.
Obviously, I was growing in faith a little
Yeah.
bit, and just doing things that Christians do. Part of the youth team at Gloucester, had some really good people around there, and I was being made redundant.
Right.
So being made redundant, I had wife, two kids, mortgage, all those things, and I had to look for another job. This was around about the crash of 2008,
Mm-hmm.
2009, where everything went pear shaped, and God did a lot of things in that which kept us, so He could take me on a
Yeah.
journey. And we went away with the youth to it's called the Gathering, and I went with a really close friend of ours, Sarah Whittleston, who was the associate minister at Gloucester then.
Right.
And both her and Sarah's sister both said to me, I think you should explore going to Bible college.
Okay.
Now, anyone that knows me, I hated school. Well, I didn't hate school. I just didn't get on there,
Mm.
and I didn't. It bores me, those sort of things. Hence why I came out with nothing. But that's always a laugh in it. Um, but I went. I just felt that I should just try it out,
Yeah.
and Sarah was quite surprised, because I'm not the sort of person that just goes for a weekend just looking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went with a thing of, I'm not going to Bible college to learn for 3 years, but let's go and see what it's about. During that time, I really felt my own experience was that the devil tried to pull me away. So I had a really, really vivid dream, um, of being pulled away. I was in my bed and being pulled into a dark hole, and I actually sat up and screamed, no.
Wow.
Which there's three other guys who I was sharing a room with, and the one down the end thought it was someone else. So, but I remember just sitting up and screaming, no. And then the next night, we had an encounter evening. They just did a bit of testimonies
Mm.
and things, and that's when God really got me, brought me to my knees, had me in tears, in the sense that this is a new journey to
Mm.
trust Him. And I suppose ever since that, I've trusted Him on where we're going. And I haven't always done it to the best of my abilities. I've tried to do things my own way, but I went through college for 3 years. I've got the same as you. I'm BTEC, not BTEC, honors
Yeah.
degree, and all those things I thought I'd never
Yeah.
have.
Mm-hmm.
Letters after my name, and that was the start of I would say, the proper journey of 50% of learning about God and the Bible and different
Mm.
things at college, and 50% really, really ringing me out with all the things that I needed to change. And every year I wanted Bible college. That someone gave me a reason to leave, and it was always people around me to keep me there. I mean, I remember the one year, um, I was accused of, what's it called,
Plagiarism.
plagiarism. I was accused of plagiarism, and it was a genuine, honest mistake. But I was called to someone. One of my tutors said, "Oh, so the guy who headed up said he just wants to see you in his office at 2 o'clock."
Right.
Okay, I'll be down there, and I got there, and it was a full-fledged interview with all people there.
Oh
The funny
wow.
thing was, it was just after Christmas, and back then uh, we used to do fancy dress for New Year's Eve at Sarah's mum's, all of us, and I dressed up as Whisper at Mr. T, and I had the full-on shaved haircut, beard, and I went into this interview looking like that.
No, you didn't.
But yeah, so
Oh
I had to
wow.
redo a paper. I only would only get 40% marks, and I was told that if this ever happens again, and there's me with a family, with and I had to battle it and fight it within me, because it was like, well, why would I do that?
Mm.
You know, it goes against everything that. And but anyway, that's part of that, and there are other things that made me want to leave, but God still got me through it.
Yeah.
Um, and it was great to have so many people supporting me, especially Sarah and the girls. God looked after us. We would have bills coming up during those 3 years. I mean, Sarah walked straight into a job that she loved at a school, which was just amazing, because people were losing jobs left, right, and
Right.
centre. But she walked into a job, our mortgage went to a 0% interest, and we were paying like less loads, and we were able to do that. And things like, people say, oh yeah, we had an envelope of money turn up and it was just the right amount to pay these bills. I've experienced that.
Wow.
That's happened, and we've never told anyone those things. So God was at work in those. And then 2012, we had a couple of interviews for posts for youth pastors around the country. Just different things that you can, to see whether you can pastor. One was Chelmsford. We had a kind of little interview at Bristol, but that there wasn't really a job there. But we still went down just to see what it was about. Chelmsford one, we knew that it wasn't right for us. Being sat in a room no bigger than, I don't know, a couple of meters square with 3 people with clipboards for 2 hours is not a nice experience for a church. You go, okay. And then we went to Ashbourne.
Yes.
The church in Ashbourne were after a youth pastor. So me and Sarah went up and met the senior pastor, Ben, and his wife. And they showed us around. They chatted to us. And one of the key things in that was, because every time we went somewhere and we were talking about our future, Sarah kept saying, how do you feel? What do you reckon? What are you getting from this? And I remember driving around Ashbourne. If you've ever been to Ashbourne in the Peak District, it's tiny. It's like 5 minutes you walk around the town centre. But we drove around, we followed Ben. And I turned to Sarah and said, how do you feel? And she straight away went, I've got a real piece about this. And that's when it all slotted in. And we went there for 3 years. I did my ministry and training there.
Right.
And then in 2015, I got ordained as a reverend, which was quite a cool experience. Considering I'd just grown my hair and beard for a year for charity. So I stood in front of all the peers and, the leaders of Elim, looking like a man that would just come out of the wilderness. But these are the things that we do. But it was great.
Did you want to keep that hair though? Didn't you? Didn't you want to keep the beard? Or
I think me and my brother-in-law did a thing. So we went completely shaved head. Well, he's bald, so he didn't grow his hair. So completely bald, shaved, completely clean, and we just let it grow. We weren't allowed to touch it apart from the what it's like when you chew and you feel hair in there.
You don't want the kind of that. No.
So we grew it, and we got to the end of the year, and it was a case, right, I can have my hair cut and my beard trimmed now. But part of the deal was the beard comes off completely.
Wow.
So it was a bit ashamed. But my hair was, so that was the first time I had hair in probably over 20 years, because I'd always had a shaved head. And one of the youth said to me, oh, you're going bald. And it was one of those things saying, well, I'm not. And then luckily enough, or unluckily enough, it came along that we did this raising money for Hope for Justice for a year. So so that was a fun year. And I even had my interview down here in Weston looking like that.
Really?
Which
and you still got the job?
Yeah,
wow.
I still got the job, Sarah. And that picture's even on my passport.
It's not,
which is crazy. Yeah. So every time I go through, customs, they look at it and go.
Look at the eyes of the eyes.
2015, we were, let's just say, we had an experience of church. Where we were pushed more than sort of went. And I think there's a combination of that where we weren't really listening to God. Our heart was for the youth there, for the building the things that were going on. But things happened. We found ourselves looking for another place. And at our conference in 2015, Steve was back from Nepal. He'd been here in Weston for about a year. And he just said, oh, what are you doing? What are you up to? You're getting ordained, blah, blah, blah. And I just told him the reasons why. And he was actually looking for an assistant. And it was his wife, Helen, that said, oh, look, Neil's getting ordained. Why didn't you ask Neil? So going from the pastor who was at Gloucester to now being the senior pastor at Weston, and I'm there as associate, is just a crazy kind of turnaround. But it's great. And I've been here for 5 years.
That long?
4 years. 2015. So okay, 4 years.
Because you just started when we were doing the first go, weren't you? That's when.
Yeah. For me, Joey started 2 weeks before me. So he thinks he was in charge, but he wasn't. And yeah, then I remember coming to McDonald's, having a year of meeting at McDonald's every Wednesday morning at stupid
At
o'clock.
5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, that was
It's
crazy.
brilliant. It set things in motion. What's to come, and just getting to know you, Lee, Caroline,
Yeah.
the rest of the guys was just really really good. And yeah, so it's been a bit of a roller coaster here down in Weston because I came as an associate,
Yeah.
but took over with the youth because Joey went to college and the other guy had work commitments just stopped him from doing it. So I oversaw the youth for a bit
Hmm.
and did lots of things like that, and then we employed some Scottish person and 2 years
Christy,
years later.
yes,
So
very nice lady she is.
that's right. So yeah, and so that here I am as an associate of Weston, um, doing what I'm doing now, which is, and that's my faith journey, I suppose, from way back when
Wow.
to here and now.
So it's been a real kind of roller coaster from kind of becoming a Christian about 2009 to now 2020 to kind of kind of be an associate.
It was around about 2006. I became I that was when I did my initial, put my hand up, do the sinner's prayer, all that monarchy, and then just going on that journey with
Mm.
the youth and things, and just getting to know things. But it was 2009 when it really ramped up, and I think it was through that just turning of, well, you got to trust in me now. If this is where you want to go,
Mm.
and this is where really good people have said to me, I think you should try that. I think you should go for that. And I think there's, yes, we trust God with everything, but He puts people in our way to trust when they don't make decisions for you, but they give you a little nudge. And I haven't really looked back since. So
Mm. So what so being in Western for now 5 years, what's the journey been like? Kind of working with strange and wonderful people like say Caroline and Lee, and so what's it been like working? Well, because we've worked quite closely together. Doing Revolution and Go and stuff like that. So yeah, just tell us how that's gone for you. So yeah,
we use the term work loosely. So
work loosely. Yeah.
no, it's been good. It's been good because I think, Gloucester, we as part of the youth team, we didn't really, as a city church, we didn't really branch out that much
Right.
to other churches. Ashbourne was the same. We didn't really connect with other
Right.
churches. To tell you the truth, all the churches were full of old people anyway in Ashbourne, apart from ours. Um, uh, and the nearest youth leader was probably about 10, 15 miles
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming here and it was a change straight
Mm.
away. Joey was there, I was there. It was I was overseeing the youth, which I'm still a massive part of now. I still oversee that in that sense. But it was great to see guys who really had a heart and passion for youth. You had so many people who were there and thriving youth groups,
Yes.
um, and just going on and just seeing Go and the things you used to do together and the dynamics of the team. That was an eye opener. It was fun, but everyone brings a different passion and a different
Yeah.
viewpoint, and you always work with
Yeah.
those. And I think it's left something good
Yeah.
uh, with what's going on
Mm.
within Western. I say the landscape's changed, or it
Mm.
had changed the last year.
Mm.
Things are going different, but
Yes.
um, I think the foundations have been built for something else that's going to go on.
Yeah. I don't think this is
And,
the end of where we're going, is it? Really? So it's what's going to happen next. Really? Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
So and it's been good. It's been good to just watch that. And from my point of view, from watching, you know, it, someone said to me it'd be hard to let go of the youth, and it kind of is, but then it isn't because you can see how well Christy's done,
Mm.
and Connor and the team, what she's done over the
Mm.
2 years, and what she's built,
Mm.
what she's grown, and how she's instilled in people. And
Mm.
and one of the things that Steve says to me is he says that was your fault. That was in the sense that I pushed for a youth leader because I couldn't. My role wasn't to give 100% to the youth. That wasn't
Mm.
what I wanted to come for, although I would have done. But I knew that it needed someone else. And that's not to be me saying, "Look at me, aren't I great?" It's that you when it came to like handing over the reins and just watching someone go, it's just brilliant. We had a youth service last week. They took over our online service, and it's just brilliant to see our
Yeah.
youth flourishing.
Yeah.
And you just go, you're part of the foundations of that, and I am, and that's
Mm.
great. And I'm pretty sure that yeah, give yourself a pat on the back for that because you're part of something. Not in an egotistical
Mm.
way, but just to say, and to watch these guys, it's like a proud father moment, I
Yes, it
suppose.
is. It is.
You look at it and you say, wow, Christy and Connor are just brilliant, and it's fantastic what they're doing. And to see our young people flourish at church. And I know full well that it's not something I could have done. And it's not something that I would be able to do because I'm old like yourself, not as old.
What are you saying? What? Yeah, yeah, I'm still young.
Yeah. But it's just one of those things, and you see people grow up and move on. The people that were there when we were running
Yeah,
Revolution will go.
yeah.
They're not there
No,
anymore. The landscape's
I
changed.
know.
There's a next generation coming up, and really exciting to see what's going on throughout Western and the churches. And with COVID, we kind of go, but I think is it God giving us a chance to change things? Is God behind it going, right, here's an opportunity? You know, I don't know, time will tell. But I think we've got to grasp this with two hands and run with it. Not be scared to change things drastically that we need to change.
Yes.
You know,
Well, because really, yeah, COVID has, yeah, we didn't expect we're going to be in a pandemic. This is the first time for this generation, and it's going to be so. There is the danger just going rushing back to what we had before so where do you think we're heading now? What is your gut feeling? Because I know the pressure is just go back to normal, but is that really where you feel the Lord is kind of directing, and what do you think your future is?
I think that's a really really tough question, darn it. I think I think as the church, it's His church, it's not our church. But I think there's so much that's man-made and so much that we're used to and accustomed to. Now, coming from a background that isn't church, I'm able to appreciate, a difference of, say, someone who's just grown up all their life in church, and how much of a mainstay. I don't think you'll get rid of buildings and Sunday services for a long time
No.
yet, but now's the time to adapt and be really, really daring and set some things in motion. HT, we're really pushing hard for small groups and people to really flourish. Steve has this great saying: "We stay in the shadows." It's not about the minister at the
No,
front.
it's not.
It's about the guys who are on the front line. Now, I'm not saying anything about, people want to get back to church. They miss that element, and I think it'll take a long time. But the only reason why church is there at 10:30 on a Sunday morning is, do you know why?
Tradition, for one.
Yeah, but why? Why?
Why?
Why 10:30 on a Sunday?
I can't remember why the 10:30 on a Sunday at this moment in time. So you tell me.
Oh, so the reason why we meet at 10:30 is because of the cow
Oh, that's it.
farmers.
The
So
cow
we walk
farmers.
the
Yeah,
cow,
that's it.
and then they will be able to come to church. So that kind of says to you, well, church isn't Sunday, but it's a big, big part of it because it's great. We come together, we edify, we encourage, we praise God for all that He's doing, all He's going to do. That's the way I look at it. And we really encourage each other. And I've got to say, being under Steve and just watching him, being accountable to him, and just learning from him is just been brilliant. And you can, have some good people in it, not above us, not the right way to put it, but those that have got a bit further on than us,
Yeah.
way further on. And just the way he's been able to just allow us to flourish, he trusts us, and the way this. I'm just talking about HT, and I think we're really being not daring, but we don't want to let this moment pass because I don't think we'll ever get it again. And we can so easily slip back to what we knew,
Yes.
to how we do things. And I think church will never go away on a Sunday. I think it is still valid. It is still good. It's not about that.
No.
It's, I think this generation now of our young people, 18 and under, to really seek Jesus, to have a relationship with Him, and to take Him into schools, into their lives, really strong, and into wherever they're going. They're going to set the trend for us. We've got to sit back and applaud that, but also be ready and willing to adapt. So, will it change? I know there's a lot of Elim churches around that have gone back to Sunday services. They've really wanted to get back and do things, but we're not. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And we've sat as a leadership Me and Steve have talked, a long time over it and just gone, let's take it, let's make sure we do it right, because there's, three things. We want to make sure that the quality is good, that everyone is safe, and that we don't burn people out, because you've got to have you've got to have stewards, you've got to have all these different things in place. Steve explained to one of our guys recently of what it takes to have 30 people in the building, and they went, yeah,
Yeah.
like a 20-page risk assessment and this,
Yeah,
that, and the other.
that's
And
what
that's
we've
not saying,
just done. Yeah, just to kind of have
yeah.
30 people in the church is crazy. Yeah, really,
And if it is valid, we'll do it. Because we want people to come back.
most
We
definitely.
miss
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
It isn't the same, but the landscape, the future. I think it's really
mm,
exciting, and we can't let it slip out of our grasp and just go back to doing what we do.
yeah.
However that looks, I don't know. That's down to God and the Holy Spirit leading us.
Because
So
it's the question of should and what is. Yeah, what is right kind of thing. Because we can so easily, oh, we should be doing this, we should be doing that, rather than asking the question, well, is it right to do that
yeah,
kind of thing, isn't it?
yeah. We can't be scared. We're always told in Bible, never be scared to drop something if it's not working,
Hmm.
or if it's not. And just doing the same old. And I think this is why you see churches are dying out, because they're not going with the power of the Holy Spirit.
Hmm.
They want to keep what they've got, and they just want to do what they do, and they're so stuck in their ways. Where we've got to be bold,
Yeah,
we've got to be going out there,
most definitely.
uh, and and doing those things. And it is exciting. It is, yeah. And I think our first service back is going to be a wedding, which is Joey. Joey's getting married.
Right? Yay!
Yay! Uh, so I'm doing the wedding because Steve's away, and 50 other ministers said they couldn't do it, so they had to have me.
Well, they had to scrape the barrier a little bit then, hey?
If you make you scrape the barrel, but it's one of those, and that's a tester for us, because we've got stewards in place, we've got ways in place, we've got to mark it all out and do all these things. And it's not saying we don't want to do it because we can't be bothered. It's making sure that it, and we're pushing, not pushing. We want to get small groups together. We want to get them to be doing stuff. We want them to be, because they're the main drivers behind the church. They are the church in that sense,
Yes.
you know. And I think out of that, they just, once the penny drops, you know, and they get it, they understand it, they take the rest of them on the journey.
Hmm.
And not everyone's the same, and the penny drops in different people and at different
Hmm.
times.
Yeah, most definitely. So, just to kind of, what would you say to our listeners, those young people who may be struggling with their faith or just trying to fight? What kind of advice would you give to some young people which are watching and tuning in now to really kind of help them in their faith going forward?
I One of the main things that we really encourage is like mentors or discipleship. We're big on discipleship. We should be. It's what Jesus commanded
Yes,
us to
most
do
definitely.
in that sense. And one of the things that we've really noticed is, having someone like Christy in place who's 100% all out for the youth.
Hmm.
When you're all 100% out for youth and you're chasing them, but they have this, can't be bothered, because the world goes, I've got so much
Yes.
more. But one of the things I would be saying is get yourself someone who is willing to take you on a journey, to show you how to pray, how to read the Bible, how to do this, how to do that, because it's paramount for you to have such a strong relationship.
Yes.
Jesus had the multitude, then he had hundreds, then he had like the 12, and then he had his close few. And it's just sowing into people. And I see the benefits of just getting someone who's further on the journey. You just seen it. I mean, Christy does this. I'm doing a plug for Christy now, but she has Messy Bible Pure Heart on
Right.
Instagram, and she doesn't just color in her Bible, but she uses highlighters
Hmm.
to study her Bible and go
Yeah.
through it. And like all the girls have just like, I think they've bought all the highlighters in Western, because she's got like little mini me's.
Yeah.
But it's great that they're not just getting their Bible, opening it and coloring in and going, look what I've done. They're actually studying the Bible. They're listening. They're hearing, and some of the things they're coming out with is just brilliant. Now that's not for everyone. The boys, you're never going to get that. The boys, you might do some of them, but when you've got really, really strong Christians taking young guys under their wing, and really showing them the
Most
ropes, and
definitely.
and taking them and showing who Jesus is. And that puts a lot of pressure on us, because if we're not doing it, how do you expect them to
Most
follow?
definitely. Most definitely.
So it's doing that, which is so that's the thing. Get your people excited to be disciples and discipleship makers, and just be like a discipleship factory. Your church should be churning out people who just love Jesus no matter
Yeah.
what, and having that thing of no matter what you're going through. Oh, it's pretty rubbish this week. Doesn't matter. Jesus is still there with
Yes.
you.
That's it. It's true. It's very true. Did a little dog just come and say hi?
Yeah, he's just been on his walk. He's breathing his own dog breath over me. Oh, carry on, carry on.
It's okay. So I'm going to give you. So really appreciate all what you've been saying. It's a great story, and yeah, really appreciate. So we're gonna kind of land now, as it were, which Mike Pilarvacci would say he's coming into land. So I'm gonna 10 questions, quick fire round. This is so it's just kind of one word answers. I'm not going to elaborate or anything like that. So it's so. What is your favourite word?
I really haven't got a favorite word.
No.
Not really. There's lots of favorite words I like to say. Cool
Cool
beans.
beans is
Words.
always there in your vocabulary. Yeah. So what is your least favourite word then?
Um, um, oh, I can't really say it on family. Lots of words I don't like.
What lots of words.
Like what?
Okay. And we didn't even talk about go, did we? So maybe
Uh,
maybe I need to interview you again for just to kind of go through the last session and go. So yeah, I'll get him again. I reckon I will get you again, and then we can talk
no one's
about
put.
that. Sorry.
They've all logged off, haven't they? No one's put any questions or
No,
comments, have
no,
they? They've all
no.
logged
There's
off.
whole loads of questions about Go. No, there is nothing at the moment, but maybe another day. Okay, so what motivates you?
People motivate
People
me.
motivate. Great. What demotivates you?
Uh,
People. No.
yeah, people
Yeah,
demotivate me.
that's true, isn't it? It's true. So, what sound or noise do you love?
Uh, I um, I like. Okay, this is gonna be really odd. Bass, as in I'm a '90s kid, so that's why I like bass guitar and stuff like that. I like.
Oh wow,
If you see me driving around, a 40-year-old man with my bass playing,
that's it. So you like
just
bass?
you.
Nice, nice. Okay, so what sound or noise do you hate? Classical,
Oh, a lot of people
country,
say,
what was it?
oh, yeah,
Country.
country. Let's say country western, because my dad loves country and western, and
No, it's just so
I've
wrong.
been to country and western shows.
So wrong.
It's
Okay, so what is your comfort food? What's your go-to food?
crisps.
Crisps. Okay. So, what is your hobby? I think you were you aren't you learning the bass at the moment? So
Um, I've picked the bass up again. I used to play years ago, and then I sold a really nice bass guitar, and then I missed it, so I bought an acoustic bass.
nice.
Um, uh, yeah, basses. Playing the bass is a hobby. A few other things, drinking coffee. Um, that's you know.
Yeah. Okay. So if you could have any job and you could try any job, what would that job be? Yeah. Obviously, yeah, a youth work and all those kind of things. You've done all those. So what is your dream job if you could do anything else?
Footballer.
You wanted to be a footballer, yeah?
Well, who wouldn't want to do something they absolutely
Most
love,
definitely.
but stupid amounts of money?
So what team do you support?
Wanderers.
Oh right, okay, we won't go there then. Okay, so last question for you. What would you like to hear God say when you arrive in heaven?
Cool beans.
Cool. Excellent, excellent. Well, so honestly, mate, it's been a pleasure hearing your story. Thank you for being with us and coming along. And yeah, really do appreciate you coming along. Love to the family there. and we will get you again on the interview so we can talk about Go. Just Go. All right, because that was a brilliant, that was a great story.
It's, it's not a
It
great
is a great
story.
story when you had to drink out
Not a
your
great.
shoe and stuff like that. It was great.
I was ill. I was ill for weeks.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming along, and so yeah, thank you for tuning in, guys, and we will be back in the new term. So without further ado,
How many tuned
how
in?
many tuned in? Oh, about 8. Well, someone just turned
All
in.
right.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad for a night, really. Yeah. When I was interviewed, there was thousands. Honestly, it was just kind of rolling through. It wasn't really, honestly. So no, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on the on our interview, and and guys, thank you for watching. So see you again in the new year. Well, new year in the new term. So not new year. So okay, thank you for joining us. Bye for now. Bye.